Well, g'day, Pauline. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Peter, for having me on.
That's all right. Now, this is a very different conversation than I'm used to having,
I'm sure.
especially on my show. So can you just tell us a little bit about, say the clients that you work with, and we'll go from there.
Okay, great. So I work as an intimacy and sexuality coach, educator and healer. And I work with a real cross-section of clients. It's mainly people that have some sort of challenge in their area around intimacy and sex. Or alternatively, it can be clients that want to deepen their intimate relationships and take their relationships to a deeper level. So wanting to learn things that we obviously aren't educated very well in sex. So sometimes it's people just looking for new additions that they can bring into their lives. But I also work with people that have different sorts of challenges.
Okay, could you talk a bit about, say, typically, I mean, you wouldn't have typical clients, but so
no, they're very varied.
Yeah,
I could give you some examples if you like of some of the clients I'm seeing at the moment.
Yeah, just some classic experiences that you have, like the problems that you kind of help people overcome.
Yeah, sure. I'm working with a young man at the moment who has premature ejaculation challenges, and he is so stressed out about having sex. And so we're working on that and having really good results, having very interesting conversations, of course. So really helping him with that. I've got a woman that I'm working with at the moment that has not been able to experience orgasms. So I work with mindset, and I work with exercises and breath. And if they're in the same location as me, I do body work and do energy healing with them as well. So I'm working with her in those areas so that she can actually experience that. I've got another client, woman who's absolutely terrified of sex. She would be in her 40s. Who else am I seeing at the moment? A lady that's been sexually abused from the very young ages. And so just doing work with her around her sexuality to help her get in touch with her sexuality and to also release some of that trauma that she's still holding.
Okay, so yeah, it is varied and very sensitive sort of subject,
Yeah, it is. It's very sensitive, and feel very blessed that they trust to me to share that information with. But at the same time, I see great results. The lady that I saw last week, I'm seeing her again this afternoon. We had an amazing session. She's did some work on it maybe 10 years ago, a couple of sessions with somebody. But that's really not enough work to shift what she's carrying around the sexual abuse. And I started doing some NLP processes with her, and in the middle of it, I get guided because I have my guides, and they were yelling at me to get her on the table, which I ended up doing, and did some healing work with her, and it was just so powerful. It was fantastic, and afterwards, she's just, sat there and said, "Wow, I just feel so free." So that's what makes my heart sing.
Yeah. So with the sort of clients that you have, what are the processes? How are you actually helping them? Is it like one-on-one? Are you doing sort of group? Is there group things involved with this, or is it always very one-on-one intimate?
At the moment, these are one-on-one. I am going to be doing some workshops in the new year, so looking at how it can be a bit more of a general sort of interest type thing that can appeal to men and women. I am running at the moment some breath classes for women. I've got about 4 women. I've got a 5th woman joining us next week. And these breath classes are around working with your breath to actually raise your sexual energy. And that's one thing I'm very passionate about, is raising sexual energy or sexual vibration, or I guess, another term you could use it as your libido. So there's plenty of things that you can do to increase all of those areas, and so I work a lot with that. So this class is actually based around that. So I have all these women doing ecstatic breath, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned something just a bit before about the trust. Now, that's got to be a major thing when someone's revealing stuff that, the most intimate stuff that you can sort of reveal to someone. Like, how do you, I don't know, how would you say this? How do you create a situation where there are really deep levels of trust, so that, you know, the more they reveal, the more you can sort of help them, I guess. You know.
Yeah,
so
that's exactly
what's
right.
behind that for you? So, because, you know, and also I'm thinking sort of in terms of people in business, it's kind of really it's no different. You really, the people you're working with, you want to be able to trust them. So this is
That's
like really
right.
a human thing that we're dealing with here. So yeah, how do you work with that?
I think people just are attracted to me on an energetic level, which might sound a bit woo-woo and a bit out there, but I believe it's quite true. And they get a sense that I am okay to talk to. And once we start talking, because I guess I'm so matter of fact and so casual about it, I'll just ask questions, which if you're not comfortable in those areas, it's going to come across that way. So I'm very comfortable asking the questions, and I think that just automatically puts people at ease. And it's amazing, you know, how much people divulge to me very quickly, even if it's just on a phone call before they've even been, you know, signed on to be a client. So I think it's just that I do have a very friendly and natural way about me, but it's also about that building rapport, you know, which we all learn in NLP of how to do that. And I don't know, people just seem to feel comfortable enough to be able to share those things. So yeah.
So is it? Some of it's kind of just naturally, just you're probably drawn to that kind of work because you're naturally that way. And is some of it been learnt
from myself?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, certainly rapport, you know, creating rapport has definitely been learnt through all the NLP training, you know, mirror matching, that sort of thing, which I probably do automatically anyway. But I think it's just that natural ease that it's I'm the person that you would come and talk to, and so people just feel really comfortable opening up to me. You know, sometimes I might get a little bit of a giggle going on with some of the things that they're talking about, and, you know, I've had some interesting discussions where I'm going, well, I can't really believe, you know, where we both sit there going, well, that was an interesting conversation when I'm teaching a man how to masturbate, or, you know, in doing it in a different way. So it's just, I guess, mainly I think that I'm comfortable with it, and that then makes them comfortable with it.
Okay. And so what were you doing just before? Yeah, this is probably a dangerous question for me in this situation. What were you doing just before we had this interview and I interrupted you? Because that's what I'm asking everyone, but yeah.
Well,
I'm nervous.
You're nervous. Don't be nervous. Take a deep breath now. Just breathe in and let it go. No, it's very innocent what I was doing beforehand. I've actually just finished writing a hypnosis script for my male client who's interstate, and I'm going to work with him this afternoon around that. And so that's what I was just literally finishing up working on when I spoke to you.
Okay.
And just prepping and getting ready for my other two clients this afternoon.
Okay. And so, and just so you know, guys, she's kind of looking around all over the place because she can't actually see me on the video. She's got some troubles with the computer, and this is all on her iPhone. So we've kind of, it is literally a day in the life of, and this is kind of how it happened.
Right.
So where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Okay, well, I'm on Facebook, Pauline Ryeland, and my business name is healthypassionateliving.com. So that's the website, and I also have a Facebook page as well.
Okay, could you spell your last name just so?
Yes.
I'll actually spell your whole name just so people can look you up on Facebook.
It's Pauline, Pauline, Ryeland, Ryeland, and it's healthypassionateliving.com.
Excellent. Okay, guys. Well, you know where to go. I think you would know certainly if this person is a match for you or not. There's no mistake about that.
That's
all right,
right.
Pauline, it's been a very interesting conversation. I was looking forward to this one, and I was just wondering where it was going to end up, and it turned out great. You've been a great guest. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Bye-bye.
Well, g'day, Andrea. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you on.
Hi, Pete. It's lovely to be here.
Okay, so can you tell us, Andrea, who are the clients that you work with?
Yes, I'm working with spiritual women who are working to set up their businesses. Many of them are healers and light workers, and so I'm a spiritual business coach, and so I specialise in empowering spiritual women to build authentic businesses that nourish their souls and transform lives.
Wow. Now, when you say the light
Light workers.
Light workers. What could you explain that? That sounds interesting to me. I haven't heard. I think I might. I interviewed someone recently, and I just want to find out if it's the same thing that they're doing. So, could you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yes. Light workers. They all know what I mean.
Yeah.
Light workers are people who feel that they've come to the earth in this lifetime to help people heal and to help guide them in spiritual aspects.
Okay. So that's kind of the definition of what a light worker is. So light workers know exactly what it is, but to the outside world, it's a little bit different. Okay, so how are you actually helping these people? Like, you're helping them build their business, is that right?
I am, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
So how are you doing that? Like, do you specifically, like, do you have programs? Do you have one-on-ones, workshops, events? How do you facilitate that?
I have programs that I work with them, and they, with the program, they get regular videos with workshops, and then we have included in that a couple of one-on-one sessions, and then regular contact through Facebook where everyone joins in on the same time every week so that they can ask questions, and also it helps to build a community because many of them they feel very isolated because they work from home, work by themselves, and they just need that connection with other people who are working in the field. So by having that community on Facebook, they're able to connect with other people and share some of their stories and good times and bad times as well.
Okay, so it's kind of like a bit like a mastermind group, is it? Sharing ideas, that sort of thing? Or how does that actually work? What kind of happens in that group?
It becomes a bit of a mastermind group. So the idea is that I set aside a time that I will be on there every week so that I can answer any of their questions. But of course, then they're free to interact with each other and communicate about what's happening in their lives. And it's quite an effective way of people connecting with each other.
Yeah, it's amazing that the Facebook, this whole situation came about through Facebook. You know, like that's how we met. It was I was introduced to you through one of my other guests who was on part of this series, and just that level of connection that can be achieved using Facebook. So, how are you actually helping your clients to market their business? Is that something that you're doing as well?
Yes. I take them through a whole process of because what I'm finding is a lot of them they have so many ideas, and just to get focused on what they want to do and how to create their business is an issue to start with. So I'm helping them to really focus in on what they want to do, what their skills and talents are, and then to put those all together into a program and packages that they can then market, and then looking at how they can market that using both online and offline resources. And even offline, it's very much about creating relationships, just the same as online, but the two really work well together to give them more opportunities to create those relationships.
So is that something that they really struggle with? They know their craft, so to speak, but kind of putting themselves out there in front of people, that's a different story, or having people go, hey, I want to take part in what you're doing. Is that a struggle that they have? Yes,
it is. And also to define what they're doing, because a lot of this stuff is, to a lot of people, just sounds really woo-woo. They just don't understand what they're talking about. Yeah. And trying to market what they're doing is quite a challenge for them. And so they're often trying to say, well, I do this and I do that, and people just have no idea what they're talking about. So it's about them understanding, to start with, who their market is, and then looking at what the benefits are that they're really offering them, and finding a way of putting that together so that people now understand what the benefits they're going to get without being too freaked out about some.
Yeah. I'm actually thinking about doing a woo-woo themed episode and just having like a whole bunch of woo-woo types on, because it is, and I think it'd be great to have them all together, because that will be one of the hardest businesses to kind of piece together that message. That'll be a big thing, because it's an invisible kind of service, I guess. And it is very difficult for them to piece it together in a way
sounds tangible to their clients.
Yeah, because I guess too, everything isn't for everyone, like woo-woo type stuff, and isn't for everyone, and everyone that doesn't want that, well, that's cool. You don't have to have that. But then there's like real hardcore business structure. Do this, have to this, and this, and get out there and just do it and make it happen. That's the woo-woos go, oh.
Yes, that's right. So, and they don't want that. They need something that's structured towards their style of life and their beliefs. So you can't throw heavy business concepts at them because it's just not going to work.
Yeah. So what have you found that works? Because I guess like you really connect with the woo-woo, because I guess I love that term. I can't remember where I heard it the first time. I just love it. It just sums it up beautifully, because I'm into interesting things. Like, I don't have to agree with things, but it's interesting just to learn about stuff, it's that's happening out there. I never would have heard of any of this kind of stuff had I not done an interview show and started being introduced to people that are doing this kind of weird and wacky stuff. I had a great guest the other week, Shirley Ann Lawler. She's that's the one I was thought when you were talking about what you do. She's talking about bars. Do you know about bars?
Yes.
See, I knew you would know about that. Excellent. So what were you doing just before?
Explain.
What's that?
That is a hard one to explain.
Yeah. So what were you doing today just before I interrupted you to have this call to kind of help propel your business forward?
I was working on preparation for a video that I'm preparing for my clients on getting themselves out there offline, and developing relationships and collaborations so that they can connect with people one-on-one rather than sitting behind the computer. So to get themselves known more. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, so do you have a website that we can send people to?
I do have a website. It's mysticbusinessgoddess.com.au.
Okay, so if people want to find out more about Andrea and how she can help you with your business and sort of, if you think, because everything isn't for everyone, and she might be just the right person that you need to speak to help you with your business. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Been a great guest.
Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
Great.
See you later.
Bye.